marketing is full of decisions. You're constantly deciding, is this better than that? Should I put this picture up there or that picture up there? Should my headline be this or should my headline be that? What color should my headline? All those kinds of things are questions that we have to make as marketers every single day. There is a way to get your questions answered. So I was just talking to somebody a little while ago. We were looking at their landing page to get people to opt in to their email list to get the certain offer. And their landing page had 2 headlines on it. It had headline number 1, then a line, and then it had headline number 2. And I asked the person on the call a very simple question. I said, hey, do you have any knowledge in your industry that would tell you whether headline 1 should be the first one or whether headline 2 should be the first one there? Because both of them were equally good. But my gut feeling was that headline 2 would be better as headline 1 and headline 1 would be better as headline 2, reversing the 2. And by the way, I see this all the time. People do what in writing is called burying the lead. They take the thing that is the most important thing and they tend to bury it down within the copy or as a subheadline or something like that. And oftentimes what I find is you just take something that's down in the copy and you move it up to the headline and it can do better. But you need a way of figuring out whether it actually is going to be better or not. So I asked her that question. She says, I don't know. And I said, well, how about if we do a small test to indicate which one should lead, which one should be up on top? It's a very simple solution. It's called an A/B split test. Basically, what an A/B split test does in this particular case is that you do one version of the page that has headline 1 on top and headline 2 on a second, and then you do a second version of the page and you reverse it where headline 2 is on top and headline 1 is down below. And then what you do is you use software to, whenever someone comes to the page, you take half of them and show them version 1 and half of them you show them version 2. And then you let them make their choice. You then look at which one gets the most opt-ins and you choose that as the winner. What that does is it means that you always have the best options for your customers as indicated by your customers, not by yourself and your own choices. Okay, that's very simply how A/B split tests work. You just got one version of the page that has it looking one way and another version of the page that has it look the other way, and let software divide up between the two of them and determine which one the winner is. So let me show you how you do that, okay? All right, so first off, I can't show you exactly. I can't call up the screen because I don't know exactly what page creation software you use. But if you've bought any kind of page creation software in the last 5 years, it probably has built into it A/B split testing or a testing option. So I encourage you to put in the name of your software, let's say Kajabi A/B split test. Google that, find the instructions on how to do that. And all you're going to do is find those instructions and follow them. Basically, in most cases, what you're going to do is you're going to create a version that has one of your headlines first. And then you're going to click something that will give you a second version. It'll probably give you the exact same page, allowing you to be able to make changes. And on this one, you just reverse it. You put the other headline first. Then when you're done with that, you're going to click a button to turn it on and let it run. Now, I'm going to give you a little side journey over here. Only change one thing, like which headlines first. Don't make one of them be the headlines in blue and another one the headlines in red, while you're also reversing the headlines. Or this one's got headline 1 top and it's got this picture, and this one has headline 2 top and it's got that picture, because then you don't know which one of those two things, the headline first or the picture, was the thing that moved the needle. So that's why we test one thing at a time. And so choose the one that you think is most likely to make a difference. run that test, and then as soon as you identify the winner, now I want to test 2 different pictures. Okay, now I do another test, just using that winner's version of the headline, but now I can put picture 1 and picture 2 is the second part of that test. Okay, so you're you're testing one thing at a time. In this case, which headline goes first. All right. So now what you've done is you created this test with one version with headline 1 first, one version with headline 2 first. You've turned it on, and then you let it run for a bit. And when you get about 300 actions from that page. So what's an action? Well, in this case, the action is that they opted in. So you're waiting until you got about 300 people that have opted in on that page. And then you go and you look at the data and you see which version got the most opt-ins, version 1 or version 2. And what you're looking for is the result significant? Now, we're getting into this technical area of statistics and statistical significance and that kind of stuff. Don't worry about that, okay? Your software already does all that. So what it'll say is, of those 300, 189 of them came from one and 111 came from the other, and that is significant at the 95% level. And you say, great, it's significant, that's what I want. When you get to that point where your software says that it's significant, then what you do is you declare a winner. You say, okay, this test is done. And let's say that version 2 with the second headline first was the winner. And you say, great, that's what it is. And so what you're doing now is, from that point on, the only offer that people see has the second headline first, because that's the one that won. All right. So let's talk about what you've just done here for a moment. Instead of guessing which one would be better, you've let your audience make the choice. You let your audience react to the two options, and one of them is eventually going to come out better than the other. Now, why is this important? Well, when you make the choice, statistically, what we find is you're going to be wrong about 40 to 50% of the time, which means you could flip a coin and probably make the choice that way. Because your customer, you're going to make the wrong choice. Your customer, when they do it, is probably going to be the opposite of yours. So you could just do the opposite of whatever you think. That's not a good idea. Run these split tests, okay? Because their choice will almost always beat yours. Now, here's where the real power of this testing method comes in. If you do this over and over again throughout your entire online presence, every place where you can do a test. So primarily the things you control, like your own website, your own landing page, and things like that. So let me just give you some examples of some things that I test on a regular basis. So number 1, I never put a headline up on an article or blog post without doing a split test. My software, Thrive Themes, allows me to do that. So every time I write a blog post, I just write 2 separate headlines. I put it into their program, and they let it run. And when a winner has proven itself at a statistically significant level, it just chooses that headline. From that point on, that is the headline. Okay, so it's very, very simple to do. Literally, I just write 2 headlines and turn on the test, and it just runs, and whichever one is better, it wins. Opt-in page design. So it can be your headline, it can be your image, it can be the copy on the button, it can be whether you put these 3 points that describe what's in it or not. It can be even things like, some people argue that if you put testimonials on it, usually I find that doesn't test well, but you can test it if you feel strongly about that. Obviously, your sales pages. So on your sales pages, your headlines, your pictures, your descriptions, whether or not you put a video on it or not, even price points can be tested this way. Embedded opt-in offers. So let's say you've got a blog post and it goes down with here's your blog post, and then all of a sudden in the middle of that blog post you've got a little box that gives people an offer to opt in for a special report or a video or something about that particular subject. Those are embedded opt-in forms, and you can test that to see if one outperforms another one. So in other words, you don't have to just have landing pages. You can have little offers within your blog. Your sidebar. So many of us have an opt-in offer over on the side of our blog post. Okay? You should be running tests over there. There are literally dozens of things you can test and places you can test on your site. I strongly suggest you make this a powerful element of your business building strategy. When you do this, when you say, I'm always going to be testing, you will tend to do significantly better as a business person over time. There you go. Strongly recommend this. Are you testing? What's been your experience in the testing in the past? Let me know in the comments. This is Don Crowther saying, just go do this stuff.